Yo, what's up? I'm here for my TGS draft analysis. As you can see from my thumbnail, I'm the greatest artist to ever live. And I'm here to play draft with a bunch of victims, as I would say. Without further ado, let's just get right back into it. As you can see, I was 7th overall. And the people in front of me took Dragapult, Qian Pao, Roaring, Gouging Fire, Spectrair, Blaziken, and Torrentee. And so I was left with either going Darkrai, Iron Valiant, Palafin, or Great Tusk, or what I did end up going, Dio Speed. I took Dio Speed mainly for the speed control and the anti-meta it can be. If you look at all these top mons, Dio Speed outspeeds a +1 Blaziken and can OHKO it. It can superpower a Qianpao and outspeed, and it can also play around like the Sucker or run Colbur. Darkrai it also outspeeds, and I believe can OHKO with a superpower. Dragapult, same deal. Iron Valiant, same deal. The only thing with Palafin, I believe there is a way for Dio Speed to be +2 and knock out Palafin with a Grass Knot while also living Abandoned Jet Punch. So it's more anti-meta. I have something to outspeed the Spectrair, and also I can just blow up Great Tusk or Chi-Yu, or Garchomp or Iron Bundle. So that's all great, and that's why I took Deoxys Speed. With the nice 180 speed here, I'm gonna have the fastest mod on this field. And also, why is this not working? Work. Alright, there we go. But also on top of that, it was only 19 points compared to everything else. Like that's pretty good value. You have 19 point Dio Speed compared to like 25 point Blaziken? 25 point Darkrai? I'll take that. And so that was the main thing going into that. Get a 19 point Dio Speed. Get a lot of anti-meta. Has a lot of variety. It has stuff like Psycho Boost and Meteor Beam now, which is really sick. On top of that, it has extreme speed. It's like not gonna be clicked, but whatever. It gives good utility and knock off spikes and stealth rock. But on top of that, it being a fast psychic type in a meta full of no psychic types is very nice, because it really leaves my options later for a lot of the later draft picks to just go whatever I want. And I did want to try out Roaring Moon, however that's not happening this time, unfortunately. But I did try. But after that, oh no, not that. But yeah, after that they took Darkrai, Iron Valley, Shifu, Great Tusk, and Garchomp. So on my way back, you know what? Fuck it. He took Enam, he took Ren, he took Palafin, he took Meowscarada. Those would have all been cool. A lot of those I don't care about. But what I really wanted was Terra Kyurem. Terra Kyurem seems really interesting because last generation, Sword Shield, this guy was a menace to like every team. He would just destroy everybody. But back in Gen 8, it didn't have Loaded Dice Icicle Spear, but also Scale Shot. Although it did lose Roost, unfortunately. But it does have this, which is really cool, and on top of going something like Terra Ground with Terra Blast, it fixes one of its biggest weaknesses with the DV set of having like a bulky steel, like Melmetal for example, which is in this gen, which is great. But Melmetal would always be an answer for a DD Kyurem, because it would have to run Earth Power or Focus Blast for it instead. But besides that, it just seems like a fantastic breaker with just Draco and Earth Power, Focus Blast. But on top of it, also Screens and Roar, which could be really cool tech. Yeah, I don't have to run Sunny Day Weather Ball for Scizorus. I can just run Terra Blast. So that was all pretty cool. And it was only 18. Which was really cheap. compared to stuff like Terra Necrozma. Where's Necrozma? Terra Necrozma is 25? That seems insane. Terra Curum is less than Terra Mens? Like, that seems insane. Terra Raging Bolt's 23? You mean 18-point Terra Curum? I have, in my opinion, saved a lot of budget. I'm picking up some undervalued picks here. Although the one big problem is Curum provides like no roll compression whatsoever. This guy does nothing. But it is a Terramon, which also could help with that, so who knows. Next pick, let me put this in. There we go. So the next pick, I was really looking at Zapdos. I think Zapdos would have been really sick. I used it earlier in the gen before it had Metal Sound back, and it was just phenomenal. Just being that bulky pivot your team needs, or it can just be an offensive threat with Hurricane. It was amazing, and for 15, it's insane value. But unfortunately, that guy went round 2. Fuck Fist, fuck you. And then I was looking at Rotom Wash. And then Sean took it right before me. So fuck Sean too. So I had to settle on, what was it again? Oh yeah, Ting Lu. Ting Lu was a mod I really wanted to use. I really wanted the top ground. Because I think that's very important in this meta. Having a ground, because the fall off from like something like Garchomp and Ting Lu and Iron Treads and Great Tusk to something like, in my opinion, Landos, I don't like the Landos at all. The other grounds are like something like Donphan. I don't like Donphan at all. A lot of these grounds, like they have rocks, but they're not great at setting rocks. Like Donphan is a terrible rocker. You draft it for spin mainly. But I really wanted to get those hazards so that Dio Speed didn't have to. And Tinglu just seems like a really cool mon. It could be a stopgap to threats such as like a Terraladios. But it also can be really cool sets with like weakness policy and just like 4 attacks or like 3 attacks with big spikes. Those seem really cool to force a lot of switches and get your spikes up, and also just trade 1 for 1 or 2 for 1. And nothing can Oko Tinglu in 1 hit, just awesome. The only thing is Tinglu does like kind of want more bulkier play styles. And with Dio Speed, you kind of want to go more offensive play styles, especially with Kyurem too. But I think it's fun because you can go those weakness policy sets, or you can just be there to get shit for these guys. But it can also enable maybe a more defensive, bulky offense first kind of style. If I wanted to switch to that for like a matchup or two with Dio Speed and Kyurem. So that was pretty cool. And I got my ground, I got my dart early. I really wanted spike support for a certain mon. I was still wanting Roaring Moon at this point. Until I don't have it anymore. Fuck Ogle 2. Although, I don't think I was ended up going to go Roaring Moon because of the budget. But after that, I went Goldango. Because, like, this guy may be mid. But, like, it's Goldango with Tinglu. I'm blocking all the hazards. The hazards will stay up. And maybe force some boots, which would be nice. And Dio Speed can just knock off the boots if need be. But yeah, he seems pretty cool. Just go this most of the time. You run Specs, I can break with it. I can just run a Resist Berry and lure something. Like a Blaziken, I can just run... Which, what is it, Akaberry? But yeah, that's a good thing. The Steel Ghost typing is just really good. Just run a Resist Berry. It can pivot in on like a million things. I can come in on any status that these other 3 they're in. So that's just gonna be awesome. And it gives me a Scarfer, so Kyurem doesn't have to be a Scarfer. Dio Speed doesn't have to revenge everything, so that's awesome. And then after that, I really wanted to try Terra Comfey. Even though it's a bit awkward, the Terra between these two, I still wanted to try it. Because this guy seems... I loved Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Gen 7 Comfey. Just because you run Draining Kiss and you run HP Ground, and it's just broken. And with Terra, you have a stronger HP Ground. You get out of the Fairy typing for the steals or poisons. And it seems really fun. You have the Encore. But with new additions, it got Knockoff. So that could be a cool utility set with Knockoff. Pain Split, another really cool addition. Unfortunately, it did lose Defog. But like, it's Gen 9, I'm not clicking Defog. I think there was one more thing that was cool, but I don't remember. But yeah, you seemed really cool. I got my Fairy type, I got my Terras done, and I got some really fun Terramons to use here. But the main thing with Comfey was the anti-meta of mons like Meowscarada, Chien-Pao, Greninja. If you go to the draft board, it's even more anti-meta on top of the Dio Speed. Because you have Dark type, Dragon type, Fighting type. Palafin, it sort of works with Giga Drain. Great Tusk, another Fighting type. Urshifu, another Dark type, but it's also probably Terra. Garchomp, another Dragon type. Latios, Iron Bundle, Greninja, Meowscarada. All these guys really weak to it. However, Comfey, unfortunately, is so weak that it doesn't do any damage. And this is depressing. This is really depressing. Does it even... Come on. So I probably should have flicked at Calx first, but although if I get a Calm Mind though, it changes it. However, every team is gonna have a Steel type, like Excadrill, or just something bulky like Metagross, and it's pointless. So yeah, kind of regret that pick, but whatever. That's not it. Where am I looking? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Next up, I was really looking at a mon like Keldeo. I think Keldeo would have been really cool. I think with its new additions of Pain Split and Vacuum Wave. Trailblaze, whatever, but maybe it can work on an SD set. On top of a lot of the mons like Toxapex is just like bad. And Amoonguss, but also stuff like Finny, Coco, Bulu, none of that's here. The Lotties are here, but one of them's probably be Terra, and it's whatever. So a lot of the main checks to Keldeo are just no longer there. Also the speed tier to outspeed Enam and Treads seems really good because Enam with Terra, and specifically Terra Stellar, seems absolutely fucking stupid. But then I settled on Wakwaval instead, even though it didn't have that speed tier. Mainly because I had no removal at all, since I was planning on getting Glamora. But someone also took Glamora. So fuck Raichu. Honestly, fuck everybody here, except for Habada. He didn't snipe me. He has to go Terra Zarude. But yeah, there's Clockwaval. As a spinner, it's not great, but at least it's something. I always think it's really mid, but it does give knockoff for all the boots, so that's pretty nice. What else did it get? Oh, Triple Axle, that's right. Wasn't there something else that it got? Oh, Flip Turn. It has all these cool moves now. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, this guy's pretty cool. I do see running a lot of like bulky weakness policy sets with Aqua Step. That seems pretty cool. I remember using it in the what tour was that? That first Smogon tour that opened up or whatever. And I ran a lot of like bulky Aqua Step, Weakness Policy Quackballs, and it was pretty cool because you can EV it to live quite a lot. And then it doesn't really need a lot of other stuff. After that, it was Thundurus. Thundurus, I might have overhyped. I really like the speed tier at 111. Mainly because the addition of like Lotties are back, which is really annoying. Stuff like Ogerpon, having something to outspeed Ogerpon and potentially Oko it, like acrobatics, is really nice. Gengar, that's not a mon. Iron Moth, did anybody draft Iron Moth? Nobody drafted Iron Moth, okay, that's not a problem. But Latios, having something to outspeed Latios besides a EO Speed or a Scarfer is really nice. We had that and that. Lycan that doesn't matter. Uzui and Zoric outspeeding that is pretty nice, because I did draft that. But a lot of the speed is nice, and also it's basically it's not Zapdos, but it's basically synergy with Kyurem, similar to Zapdos, where you have the classic Bolt Beam. But I think something cool with Thundurus is the addition of Supercell Slam over Wild Charge. So you can run a lot of these bulk up acrobatic sets with Supercell Slam. Instead of hurting yourself, you could just risk the 5% chance, and it's cool. Or they just go in the ground types, but whatever. It's what Grass Knot's for, I guess. But basically, this guy is just a U-turn pivot bot, pretty much. Or, let me see. Maybe you can go in some matchups, like a nasty plot set. Maybe not that one. Yeah, but basically, the Thundy will bring in electric types for Team Leo. I can set spikes. Sick, and I can outspeed the 110s. I can outspeed Enamorous. That was a big one, because nothing outspeeds Enamorous without a Scarf, and I really don't want to run Scarf Pokeball. This Scarf, it's alright, but I feel like it's better with a band or just more offensive sets. Goldango locking into Scarf is very scary, because if you make it rain and then they can go in their Terra Guy and set up, Scarfers are very punishable. And so if I can avoid having to rely on Scarfers for revenging, I would enjoy that. But also, at this point, before Thundy, my entire team is grounded, and I really need something, at least immune, that can also beat the grounds it comes in on. Not Garchomp, and not really Lando. But those ones... Well, Lando's a bit less of a problem, but Garchomp, that guy's probably still a problem. No, I can run Air Balloon Goldango still. After that, oh, Superior, that's right, the other grounded guy. This guy really gained nothing. He still has Glare, he still has Knock, he still has Leaf Storm, he has Leech Seed. But he seemed really cool for 9 points, because it gives me another ground immunity, and on top of that, it gives me another speed option to revenge the Garchomps and the Landos. And also, I can run screens, which is really cool in the matchups where it's useless. And so I can run screens with Kyurem, that's pretty cool. I block the screens with Goldango, that's also pretty sick. And after Superior, I got 2 shitters. I had no grounded poison, so I just grabbed Bloom. Maybe it comes to a game. And Flareon, the Flareon is awesome. Maybe it helps with Spectrier, I don't know. Does it even help with Spectrier? Sort of. with that. Oh, okay, it does. It does. A little bit. We put these in here. Who cares? No. There we go. And that's the team. Insane team. Insane drawing. I'm the go to this. What else was there? I'm blanking on something. Whatever, see you guys.